Hey folks, with us today, Surya from Argonaut. Super happy to have you on.
Thanks for having me here, Nikolas.
Awesome. Let's start with the most important thing. What problem does your company solve for its users?
Right. So Argonaut is a developer platform to automate cloud deployments. And today, our customers, our users are primarily infrastructure teams, or teams which are looking to solve for infrastructure-related problems, right? So infrastructure teams typically have a very interesting kind of challenge. Developing the tools and automation that is required to manage all of this is fairly complex. And it takes specialized knowledge and specialized skills to build all of this tooling in-house. And it also takes a lot of time and effort investment, right? Uh, Now, the flip side of that coin, while it's very interesting work, is that teams usually, this is not a money-making function for teams because it's something that just keeps everything together, running robustly, reliably. But it's not something that teams can go and sell to their customers saying, hey, this is how much money, this is a new feature, please give me, please, buy my services, etc. Right? So because of that reason, it also ends up being a cost center. And that means it also sort of struggles internally for resources and investment. So the problem that we see overall is that there are highly skilled, highly technical kind of requirements that that require some tooling and automation to work with, and then these teams that end up having to build it are usually lacking in resources. Now, this basically means that there is a little bit of a disparity in there. And we believe that Argonaut can solve for that problem.
Got it. And then how did you originally stumble upon that problem?
Oh, this is because in my previous roles, I had actually been on both sides of this kind of problem, right? As a product and engineering lead, I was on the side of actually having to sponsor and having to work with such teams on one end, and on the other end, I was also responsible for building all of this automation out so that we could do this, right? Now, and it's also funny because the kind of solution, the overall shape of the solution, has also sort of started getting more concrete, right? And more unified in some sense. Because pretty much everyone is now deploying to the cloud. Kubernetes has sort of become the de facto solution for most deployments, etc., beyond a trivial scale. And so now, again, in my previous role, I was responsible for building these things from scratch because I was working at a bunch of startups. And in all of those cases, again, it would be the same kind of solution built in house with the same kind of problems, and it was a very repetitive task. Now every company needs to build this in house because there is no good solution out there. That was the reason why we decided to form Argonaut and essentially make a product out of it, so that every company, starting from like maybe a 2-person team to like something with hundreds of engineers, can very easily work with very mature software systems, right? Automation, orchestration, pipelines. So that was really the origin of the particular story here.
Got it. And then just as some context for you, you're roughly 3 years in, a bit less. You raised 1.5, or I think like around 1.6 million so far. Tell us a bit about where you stand today, both of like what's the team like and like how many customers or what's the revenue like, just like an overview on where you stand today.
Right. So we are, like you said, we launched over 2 years ago now. We'll be hitting 3 by the end of this year or so. And we are a team of 10 people right now. Predominantly engineering. We have a little bit of marketing, design, but most of the folks are on engineering because our users are engineers, and the product is also a fairly technical one. So that is where our most of our focus lies. And in terms of scale, we have the order of tens of customers, and now we are in the process of scaling it to hundreds. So that's really where we are.
Yeah. Yeah. But I think it's 1.5 million is not too much. So you're super early in the journey. And then as a founder with a technical background, how do you approach sales and marketing right now?
That's a very interesting problem. So very broadly, I think we are at sort of an advantage because our product is technical, our users are technical, and that automatically builds a little bit of empathy for our users inside the team, right? We understand our users and we understand where they lie, where they hang out, etc. Right? So that's a little bit of an advantage. And I think the more interesting thing is that we can speak the same language, right? And that has been hugely beneficial in trying to do this outreach and do the sales part. Now, concretely, what that means is we actually follow a couple of principles, right? The first is, and this is especially true for engineers, they look to see a lot of value and validation before they actually put any trust or faith in your product, right? They usually have a fairly high bar for what a good product needs to look like, and they will also look for things that are, and they come with some innate curiosity, right? They look for things that are insightful. They look for things that are innovative, and that is sort of how we orient our content as well. So that when folks land on Argonaut's website, look at our blog, look at our content, it sort of resonates with them, and we add something of value before we request something from them in terms of time for evaluating the product or something along those lines, right? So that is one thing that is super important to us, and the other is actually just meeting them where they are.
If you need to hire the right developers and ship fast, then React Squad is for you. A boutique agency that specializes in React and only works with fast growth startups. Get a 14-day risk-free trial and a transparent price of $95 per hour. Visit reactsquad.io to learn more.
Yeah, and then just because I always try to get to the technical level. Mm-hmm. So how do they actually get to your website and get that value? Is that via SEO? Do you know Slack groups or communities where they hang out? How do you actually get them onto your website?
A bit of both, right? So our content is for SEO reasons, and there are lots of people who have genuine questions about, hey, how do I do something? How do I do X? Right? And in many cases, especially given Argonaut is a fairly broad kind of platform which automates life cycles broadly, pipelines broadly, starting all the way from your version control to all the way to cloud infrastructure and deployment onto that infrastructure of your services in a reliable, scalable manner. So there are a lot of different pieces that we touch, and wherever we see that there isn't, there are a lot of questions, isn't enough documentation, etc., available for users, we provide that, and we also say, hey, Argonaut automatically takes care of this for you, and you don't even have to worry about all of these minor details if you use our product. So that's like a natural plugin as well. So that helps with our SEO and our presence there. However, SEO, again, as you probably very well know, it takes a lot of time for it to kick in and start showing results. So that's where the meeting our users where they are kind of thing place value, right? So that includes things like Reddit forums, that includes things like Hacker News, and some Discord channels exist, some Slack communities exist. CNCF has a very large community, and adding value there brings some kind of visibility. And and we also try to do some kind of video content, which helps as well, as that is becoming an increasingly popular way for people to consume and learn about new things.
Interesting. So let's put a pin into the video one. I will come back to that.
Uh-huh.
On the both SEO and not community management, but like being engaged in the communities, do you do that yourself as a founder? Do you have a teammate in marketing helping you? Are you maybe more on the SEO side? Do you use an agency? How do you execute on those strategies?
So we do have one more person on the team who's also looking into this, and I actively take part in all of these communities as well. Now, we have not used agencies primarily because we hypothesize that doesn't work too well for a very technical audience, right? Again, going back to the original point, people want to see no bullshit, like very clean, very technical content that actually adds value and it satisfies a particular question that they have or a particular piece of curiosity that they have, right? So towards that, we don't believe generic SEO like content optimized for SEO does too well either for our brand or for actually getting users of value. So we've not been doing agencies and stuff. We primarily handle it in-house, and our engineers also write some of the content, especially
Amazing.
on the way we do things internally.
Do you feel it's working? Because it sounds like it's high value content, so I would assume it's working. But is it, or is it too early to tell?
So it works because the leads that we get, etc., are reasonably high intent and high value. However, there is going to be value to broadening the funnel as well, and so we'll need to look into how we can just generate more awareness at the top of the funnel instead of very niche or very qualified kind of users. At the risk of potentially losing out a few more interested folks, right? So that's an optimization that we're still working through.
Got it. And then let's come back to the topic we briefly pinned. How are you using video content right now?
So we are actually in the early days of using video, but there are a couple of ways in which it's actually helping. The first is especially if we look at our users and our user journey, a lot of our customers are startups, right? And they sometimes don't have very deep infrastructure expertise because that's not really what they're in for. They have some kind of domain expertise and they want to build products for that, right? Now, when they don't have very deep infra expertise and they want to get something done, there are a couple of options. You can go through documentation, etc. And what we are seeing is increasingly popular is video-based tutorials and video-based how-tos, right? And this also actually is increasingly playing a role in SEO with more media that is surfaced up top, etc. Right? So that is one factor that is driving us towards video. Now, in terms of video, what we do, we're just starting out on our YouTube/online video presence, but a couple of things are around how we're building our company. And then we want to expand that out into tutorials. We want to expand that out into how you can get things. Kubernetes related tutorials and exploration is a very common/popular topic. So that's something that we will be doing more hands-on stuff on. And the third and very interesting thing is there are already a lot of people who are doing this, right? And something that we are exploring is trying to get our product into the hands of other creators who are popular with a common audience, and see how see if it sticks, right? See if they can amplify our message or if they find it interesting as well and they can talk about it, right? So that's again something we've done a little bit of, and we found that to be very useful.
And then do you think about those as affiliate partnerships, meaning will they get like a link and then they get a kickback? Will it be like a paid promotion? Like how do you approach executing on that?
So it's a combination of paid promotions plus building out like long-term relationships with these are people who are very active in a similar community, right? Building out relationships with them and talking to them about the existence of our product, making sure that if they also see value to it, they talk about it. So that's the kind of relationship that we want to take forward.
Got it. And then are also you as the founder then right now driving those relationships because you're engaged a lot in the communities, or is the marketing person again helping on that?
A bit of both, but yeah, I take point on a lot of these things.
Got it. And then as one of the last questions, being a founder is not always the easiest job on the planet. Tell us a war story.
Yeah, that's a bit of an understatement. So founders end up having to wear multiple hats, right? Like some of it is technical, some of it is non-technical, marketing, sales, and then there are other functions, HR, admin, all of that kind of stuff also that creeps in. Now, I also happen to be a solo founder, so it sort of doubles that load, right? So what I realized early on is that this was not going to scale very easily if I become a bottleneck, right? So early on, initially I would be spending most of my time on product and engineering because that is where without a product, there's not too much that we can do, right? We can't serve our customers, we can't market too much, etc. Even though we can put some word out. I had to make a choice, and I did end up spending like a lot of time on product and engineering related stuff. It was also a little natural to me because I am from a technical background, technical and product kind of background. Now from there, I saw that was there were a lot of other things that needed to be done for us to acquire customers, and building is one part of it and selling is an equally important part, right? So at that point, I made sure that we got the right kind of folks on the team, right? I think we spent a lot of time and effort in making sure that we have the right team who and this is primarily from both the marketing side and the engineering side, people who are extremely high in terms of ownership and high in terms of just agency and delivery, right? So that combination is something that we had optimized to look for, and now I'm actually happy to say we have like a team that punches way above its weight in all of this. So early on, for like a few months, we basically went without any customer acquisition, etc., because we were just heads down focusing on building stuff out, and then made sure that we dialed it into the other direction, saying all of these parts are important, and making sure that we have the right distribution, etc., going as well. So I think that was that could have been a very, very costly mistake, but I think we caught ourselves in time and tried to rectify it.
Amazing. And then for the infra folks listening out there, where can they find you online?
So you can find us on www.argonaut.dev. That is ARGONAUT. And we're also fairly active on Twitter and LinkedIn. And on Twitter, our handle is Argonaut_dev. We have a Slack community that you can find on the website as well. And happy to talk to anyone who wants to talk shop.
Amazing. Then thanks again for coming on today.
Thanks for having me, Nikolas. It was great being here.
If you like this episode, then you'll love the SaaS Operator, a weekly newsletter brought to you by Early Node. With actionable insights from SaaS experts in the industry, delivered right to your inbox every Tuesday for free. Visit earlynote.com to subscribe.